Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Drew shatters Curtis' world and reveals Taggert to be Trina's real father. Drew Quartermain is furious that Curtis Ashford plotted with Michael Corinthos to steal Aurora from him, and he has a vendetta against Curtis. His recent visit with Selena Wu proved this. Drew was questioning about Selena's past encounters with Curtis at the Savoy Curtis nightclub. Drew intends to pursue Curtis aggressively, and Selena may have the information to assist Drew in doing so. Drew could learn the shocking truth from Selena: Curtis is not Trina Robinson's father at all. Selena Wu may have switched Trina Robinson's paternity test when Dr. Portia Robinson was unsure whether Curtis or Marcus Taggert was Trina's biological father. She ordered a paternity test. Curtis declined Selena's offer to have the paternity test say whatever he wanted. However, it was never revealed whether Selena actually had the paternity test doctored. Selena Wu informs Drew Quartermain that Marcus Taggert is actually Trina Robinson's father. Selena is aware that Drew wants the truth about Curtis and could provide information indicating that the paternity test on Trina was doctored and that Taggert is Trina's father, not Curtis. Drew would gladly help Selena take control of the Savoy. Drew has recently become darker and more unscrupulous, and the unexpected news has the potential to shatter his old friend Curtis' life. Drew Quartermain tells Curtis Ashford the truth and attempts to reclaim Aurora. Drew, wanting Aurora back, would blackmail Curtis into stepping down as CEO of Aurora, designating Drew as his successor, and turning over the Savoy to Selena. Curtis may acquiesce in order to keep Trina from discovering the truth. However, fans are aware that Curtis is not a lover of secrets and lying. This is why his marriage to Jordan Ashford dissolved. Rather than succumb to Drew's extortion, Curtis may call him out and tell Trina and Portia about the possible botched paternity test. One thing is certain: it would terminate Curtis and Drew's friendship and turn them into sworn foes. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Will Selena admit that Trina's paternity test was botched? Do you believe Drew will reveal Trina's true paternity? What will Curtis do when the truth is revealed? General Hospital spoilers, warnings, propositions, and deceptions. General Hospital spoilers and updates suggest cautions, offers, and deceptions. Curtis Ashford issues a warning, Emma Scorpio Drake makes a proposition, and Sasha Corbin promotes a deceit. Curtis issues a warning: Curtis and his ex-wife Jordan Ashford appear to be making up over cocktails, and Curtis has a cautious message for her. He tells Jordan, whatever this person wants, just say no. Is Curtis aware of Jordan's undercover mission with Jen Sidwell, or is he referring to Isaiah Gannon? A heads up about Sidwell would undoubtedly be prudent, but warning her about Isaiah would come out as inappropriate. After all, warning an ex-wife about her new relationship risks being misunderstood as envy. Emma has a proposition elsewhere. Emma confidently approaches Kai Taylor with an unexpected offer, leaving him surprised as she shouts, "I've got a proposal for you." Having worked with Gio Palmieri on a charity event, she could be referring to it. However, Kai's attitude shows that he sees her remarks in an entirely different way, and such a misunderstanding is not uncommon. After all, hardly everyone uses the term proposition in what appears to be a bar atmosphere, and Emma certainly does not hold back. Willow Corinthos continues her difficult meeting with Martin Gray about custody arrangements, upset that she and Drew Quartermain must meet in secret. However, Martin reminds her that the rules of their agreement to keep her children, Wiley Corinthos and Amelia Corinthos, necessitate it. The boundaries have already been violated, putting the deal in peril. Willow is definitely determined to move in with Drew at his newly purchased home in Port Charles, anticipating a lovely life together as one large, happy family. Nonetheless, it appears she is blind to Martin's warnings that Michael Corinthos has a big advantage in the custody battle, even if he is abroad healing. Christina Corinthos Davis is currently on the phone with someone, most likely discussing her recent encounter with Ava Jerome at the park. While she might be conversing with Carly Spencer, she could also be on the phone with her father, Sonny Corinthos, who is on his way home. Christina indicates a desire to discuss Avery Jerome Corinthos with the person on the other end. As she earlier told Elizabeth Baldwin, she is determined not to let Ava kidnap her little sister after the tragedy that befell her baby. Just in time, Elizabeth finds herself at Charlie's pub, having a talk with Lucky Spencer. She's probably describing her previous encounter at the park, as Lucky is inquisitive. How did she save the day this time? Given that Lucky works for Christina at the pub, it's inevitable for her to come up during their conversation. Elizabeth appears to be skeptical of Ava, even if Lucky is unaware of this. He has only returned to town once since Ava's arrival, if at all, and he may be aware that she is Nicholas Cassadine's ex-wife. Is Danny the enforcer? Rocco Falconeri and Danny Morgan are hanging out in the Quartermaine Mansion's sunroom, with Danny prodding Rocco for additional information. The guys have just learned of Sam McCall's murder, and they are both presumably aware that Cyrus Renault is the primary suspect. Cyrus has emerged as a key figure in the inquiry of Sam's killing, alongside Dex Heller and maybe others from Turning Woods. Danny, looking furious, tells Rocco that he feels obligated to find down Cyrus. It appears like Danny is prepared to take matters into his own hands. Is Danny channeling his father Jason and taking on the role of enforcer? Ruse and desperation. Sasha finds herself in the Quartermaine boathouse, urgently attempting a ruse. She urges to Jason Morgan that they make everyone believe he is the father of her kid. With Willow having overheard Cody Bell bragging about Jason being the baby's father, Sasha realizes she and Martin may use this against Michael if he begins to discover the truth. She is adamant that her brief meeting with Michael and the resultant pregnancy would not harm his relationship with his other two children. Jason is likely to go along with the idea, even if it means deceiving Danny and other family members, since many already believe the story. It should be a simple charade. Carly may have some questions, but she will most likely come around as they explain things. Guardian Angels and Good News. Sonny and Natalia Ramirez are currently flying from Los Angeles to Port Charles, returning from a cardiologist appointment that Isaiah had scheduled. During the ride, Sonny tells Natalia that he feels like someone is watching over him, which may explain why he decided to postpone his pacemaker surgery. In last Friday's episode, Sonny demanded that his family come first, while Natalia encouraged him to prioritize his health. Sonny may believe he has a guardian angel, but atrial fibrillation is a serious condition. If your heart stops, the game is over. However, he is going to receive some good news. General Hospital news: Kirsten Storms attacked by nasty fan. With everything she's had to deal with in her life, it appears that her critics just can't get a break. General Hospital news: Kirsten Storms attacked by cruel fan. Of course, we're talking about General Hospital star Kirsten Storms, who was recently targeted by a cruel fan on social media. And it all stems from a snapshot she uploaded on Instagram. One of her fans accused her of changing the shot, which does not appear to be the case at all. One of her social media followers remarked in the comments area, "Please be genuine. That triceps bump was created using Photoshop. You can tell by the strong shape against the softer line of your lower arm. I admire your work, but please be honest about it." This is when Kirsten couldn't keep back and defended herself. She clapped back, "This made me laugh. It's cute that you believe I know how to Photoshop something when my 11-year-old had to explain me how to screen share on my iPhone." Kirsten hasn't posted anything in a while, but with her followers making horrible remarks about her, it appears like she may not post again for a long time. You'd think some of her critics would give her a break, right? Thankfully, other followers commented on the photo, saying, "You should be proud of all your hard work. I hope you're just as proud. Much love." General Hospital news: Kirsten Storms is forced to defend herself. Another fan wrote, "Keep fighting, Kirsten. Keep channeling your inner fighter. I started boxing 5 years ago, and it has helped me become stronger emotionally and physically. You look beautiful." There was also this comment, "You look fantastic, and it's obvious how much heart and pride you've put into this." Steve Burton of General Hospital makes an odd statement about Maurice Benard. "You should be proud." According to General Hospital news, Steve Burton recently made an interesting statement regarding his co-star Maurice Benard, but it isn't what you may expect. During the most recent episode of his daily drama podcast, Steve discussed some of his scenes and how he tries to stay in character even when the camera isn't rolling. But then again, that's what many soap opera actors do, right? But the weird moment came when Steve intimated that he and Maurice used to conduct things very differently behind the scenes back then. In other words, he implied that they used to take their jobs at General Hospital considerably more seriously than they do now. The actor explained, "I recall when Maurice, Bernard, and I took our professions extremely seriously. If there was anything fake, we weren't doing it. We probably would have resisted it. Seeing someone in our peripheral vision who is supposed to be overhearing. That's a strange thing to make, right?" Many people are perplexed by Steve's statement, given that he and Maurice are still in General Hospital today. General Hospital spoilers, what's next for Port Charles? Is it possible that they no longer take their duties as seriously as they once did? That's what many fans want to know. Steve Burton has not made any further statements on the issue, but given how hot the activity in Port Charles has been lately, we have a hunch they're taking their acting as seriously as they should. At the very least, that is what their followers hope for. Danny's justice quest, Willow's public face, and Jordan's risky mission. According to General Hospital News, Steve Burton recently made an interesting statement regarding his co-star Maurice Bernard, but it isn't what you may expect. Danny Morgan is determined to seek justice for Sam McCall. Emma Drake Scorpio has a proposition for Kai Taylor. Curtis Ashford warns Jordan Ashford about her risky quest. Curtis Ashford's dire warning. The preview footage opens with Curtis and Jordan relaxing and drinking together. Jordan is moving full speed ahead with her plot to fool Jen Sidwell. Jordan was startled that Sidwell seemed to be interested in her. That offered Jordan an idea on how to leverage his interest to bring Sidwell down. However, Sidwell has a tendency to get away with his crimes and isn't even embarrassed about it. Curtis will warn Jordan, as others have already done. Jordan, on the other hand, is a former cop who may be looking forward to this undercover job. What worries me is if Sidwell manages to put Jordan under his spell. Jordan is a sharp and tough woman, but keep in mind that Sidwell is incredibly bright, shrewd, and manipulating. Willow Tate Corinthos' false security is over, and she continues to meet with Martin Gray. Michael Corinthos has a nasty and aggressive divorce case against Willow. Martin told Willow that they needed to be equally forceful, and that she needed to find ammunition. Willow, on the other hand, appears to be more concerned about her ability to publicly interact with Drew Kane Quartermain. Christina Corinthos Davis's SOS General Hospital spoilers reveal that she will inform someone about Avery Corinthos. Christina intercepted Ava Jerome's sly attempt to kidnap Avery when she wasn't supposed to. Christina then makes a phone call, most likely to either Sonny Corinthos or Diane Miller. Emma Scorpio Drake and Kai Taylor are expected to connect. Now, Kai appears to be a good child, but Curtis had an uneasy feeling about the college student. So, it sounds like Kai might go anyway, especially since his injury has altered his entire destiny. Trina Robinson is a positive influence, but Emma has now entered Kai's orbit. Emma is not a nasty person, but she is now rebellious. Could Emma's proposition to Kai take him down a dark path? Danny Morgan's justice quest. Danny is determined to seek justice for Sam. Danny informs Rocco Falconeri that he needs to find him right now. Could Danny make a mistake by approaching Cyrus Renault? Meanwhile, Lucky Spencer questions Elizabeth Liz Baldwin about how she saved the day this time. Sonny informs Natalia Ramirez that he has someone watching out for him. Elsewhere, Sasha Gilmore Corbin tells Jason Morgan that he must make everyone believe he is the father of her child. The tension in Port Charles had reached a fever pitch, and at the center of it all was Drew Quartermain, who appeared to have declared war on two of the city's most influential figures, Sonny Corinthos and Jason Morgan. It began with a chat, which had significantly more weight than it appeared. Drew leaned forward during a meeting with Anna Devane, speaking in a measured but forceful tone about the city's continued threat of organized crime. He did not make broad generalizations or skirt the matter. He mentioned names. Sonny Corinthos. Jason Morgan. Anna looked at him carefully. She had spent years in law enforcement, dismantling criminal empires, but she also recognized the complexities of the circumstances. Sonny was more than simply a mob leader. He was a man with power, loyalty, and a network that went well beyond what most people realized. Jason was more than simply an enforcer. He was a strategist who would go to any length to preserve his own interests. Drew, Anna eventually murmured, carefully choosing her words. If you go after them, you better be prepared for what comes next. Drew sat back in his chair, oozing the confidence of a man who had made up his mind. I'm already prepared. But was he? The ripples began to spread immediately after the talk finished. Whispers traveled across the streets and reached those who needed to hear them. Jason Morgan knew by sundown. By midnight, Sonny Corinthos knew. And neither of them took well to what they had heard. Drew Quartermain's fall. Drew was once a revered guy, a hero in his own right. But the time has passed. He had become a shell of the man he once was, leaving a trail of shattered alliances and burned bridges behind him. His decline had not been quick, it had been a gradual unraveling, a succession of decisions that had pushed him further away from the man he used to be. He had slept with his nephew's wife, betraying Michael Corinthos irreversibly. Worse yet, he had not stopped there. He had shifted his focus to Willow's mother, entangled himself in a mess that made him appear less like a man of conviction and more like someone prepared to pursue power at any cost. And then there was Curtis Ashford. Drew and Curtis were once friends and comrades in multiple ways. But that bond had frayed, shattered under the weight of Drew's decisions, ambition, and need to control things that had long since fallen through his fingers. Drew Quartermain had spent months making enemies. And suddenly it appeared like he was running out of allies. Drew had betrayed Michael not just personally, but also in a dangerous game. He had gone a step further, using his position as governor to push his weight around, focusing his attention on two guys who had established their lives in the shadows of Port Charles's underworld. Sonny has always maintained a simple rule: family was off limits. But Drew had ignored it, had broken an unspoken pact, and was now using his political power to try to imprison both Sonny and Jason. That wasn't simply a betrayal. It was a declaration of war. Jason Morgan didn't like betrayal. Neither did Sonny. Drew had just made himself a target. It was not a question of whether there would be retaliation. It was a question of when. A dangerous precedent: the last time Sonny Corinthos felt backed into a corner, he fired without hesitation. FBI agent John Jagger-Cates had pushed too hard and crossed a limit that Sonny was not ready to overlook. The outcome had been fast, violent, and decisive. Drew was doing the same thing. He had crossed the boundary. He'd made himself an enemy. And in a city like Port Charles, there were some enemies you simply did not create. The question was not whether Drew could redeem himself. It didn't even matter if he could talk his way out of the mess he had made. The question was, how long did he have before someone chose to make sure he never had the opportunity? Drew unknowingly signed his own death warrant. Christina the snitch, Nina's epic Willow decision, and Rocco in panic mode. Christina Corinthos Davis snitch, and Nina Reeves makes a major Willow Corinthos decision. Rocco Falconeri will also go into panic mode once GH's action-packed episode begins. At the Port Charles Grill, Cody Bell will test Sasha Gilmore Corbin to her limits. Sasha will become enraged enough to throw a drink in Cody's face before having a private talk with Jason Morgan shortly thereafter. After Jason tells Sasha about his conversation with Michael Corinthos in Germany, she will press him to continue playing her phony baby daddy. In Sasha's opinion, it will be their best chance to prevent suspicions that Michael is the real father. Cody will no sure receive another lecture from Felicia Scorpio. Cody will discuss his jumbled emotions with Felicia, but she will most likely tell him to get his act together and quit making Sasha's life more difficult. Meanwhile, Curtis Ashford will sound the alarm to Jordan Ashford, hoping that it will convince her to abandon her Jen Sidwell plot. Jordan, on the other hand, is steadfast in her determination to bring Sidwell down. Other GH teasers indicate that Lucky Spencer will question Elizabeth Baldwin about her latest park rescue. Christina may applaud Liz for distracting Avery and Donna Corinthos during the entire Ava Jerome crisis. Of course, Elizabeth could claim that Rick Lansing deserves credit for intervening with Ava and hauling her away. Christina may call Sonny Corinthos with updates on Ava's attempt to take Avery for an apartment visit. Even if Christina only receives Sonny's voicemail at first, she will want to include him in the conversation as soon as possible. Sonny is expecting good news, so he may see Ava's mistake as beneficial to the custody fight. It's also possible that this wonderful news has something to do with Sonny's growing romance with Natalia Ramirez, since he'll express his gratitude to her on the upcoming episode of General Hospital. On the ride home, Sunny and Natalia will become closer, and Elizabeth will bond with Isaiah Gannon. Emma Drake will also contact Kai Taylor with an offer that she would like him to consider, possibly relating to her next lavish fundraiser. Willow will quarrel with Martin Gray about her relationship with Drew Quartermaine. Willow may find no reason to hide her newest romance, but Martin may caution her against flaunting around town with her new boyfriend while custody of her children is at issue. Nina may agree before engaging in an emotional one-on-one talk with Willow. Although Nina understands why Willow fell for Drew, will she acknowledge that she once fell for him as well? This could be Nina's chance to come clean about her own Drew romance, but it could also morph into a soapy ruse in which she doesn't divulge the whole story. Nina may lose her nerve in the end and realize she cannot risk turning Willow against her. Regardless, Nina will try to deliver a cautionary tale, whether or not she makes a true confession. Next, Rocco will worry as Danny Morgan releases his rage towards Cyrus Renaud and his thirst for vengeance. Danny may want Jason to remove Cyrus from the map, and he may even consider doing it himself. According to General Hospital spoilers, Danny's thirst for justice for Sam McCall may cause complications, so we'll bring you more information on the situation. General Hospital spoilers for the week starting Monday, February 10th. General Hospital spoilers for the week beginning Monday, February 10th show plenty of non-stop action. But, of course, anyone who lives in Port Charles would already be aware of this. General Hospital spoilers for the week beginning Monday, February 10th. According to the most recent edition of Soap Opera Digest, everything begins on Monday, February 10th. That's when Jason and Tracy will have a heated argument, and Carly will make a vow she must follow. Ava's strategy fails, as Trina and Kai enjoy valuable time together. Willow is also feeling conflicted. In the episode airing on Tuesday, February 12th, Curtis warns Jordan, while Isaiah and Elizabeth discuss their sentiments. Sunny receives some good news, Jason meets with Sasha, and Cody opens up to Felcia. By midweek, on Wednesday, February 12th, Jason sits down and talks with his son Danny, while Jocelyn has some explaining to do on her end. Alexis also asks Tracy for a favor, while Carly and Brennan go out together. Christina gets to know Isaiah a little better. On Thursday, February 13th, Chase makes a confession, while Nina gives Sunny some food for thought. Elizabeth assures Rick that everything is going to be all right, while Cody apologizes. General Hospital spoilers, what happens next in Port Charles? Finally, on Friday, February 14th, Ava receives an offer while Rick mulls over his misgivings. Christina is also outraged, and Molly makes a shocking confession. Alexis also presents her case to Jason. You will not want to miss any of it. General Hospital news, is Nancy Lee Grahn quitting? If there is one thing General Hospital viewers have learned about Nancy Lee Grahn over the years, it is that she speaks what she means and means what she says, and this is no exception here. General Hospital news, is Nancy Lee Grahn quitting? The actress has made it obvious that she is highly concerned about President Donald Trump's decision to prohibit the CDC from informing the public about any health issues that may exist. Of course, Nancy had something to say about it on social media. She wrote to her fans, "In case you are unaware, the American Medical Association has a YouTube page. They are doing daily updates on bird flu and other outbreaks since the CDC cannot." This has prompted many General Hospital viewers to wonder if Nancy is thinking about quitting the show, or at least temporarily leaving, given how concerned she is about her health. After all, some of her co-stars, such as Steve Burton, have a history of not following vaccine mandates. Many of her supporters have made comments like, hopefully they will start providing information on what will happen to our country if Medicare and Medicaid are repealed. Thank you for always keeping us informed. General Hospital news, Nancy Lee Grahn is terrified about the state of the nation. Another critic wrote, "You are the greatest. If we all work together to help one another, we can get through this nightmare. With the avian flu threat present, we don't need the CDC muzzled. Someone should silence the orange blob of hate." There was also this comment, "I'm pleased I started following you. Years of seeing you on GH have shown that you are an excellent feminist and activist." The storm raging in Port Charles showed no signs of abating, and at its center was Drew Quartermaine, a man whose name had fast become synonymous with betrayal and contempt. He had once been a respected figure, but now he was one of the most detested men in town, burning bridges quicker than he could build them. But if anyone thought Drew was finished battling, they were incorrect. Curtis Ashford had delivered a crushing blow, and Michael Corinthos had been right by him, twisting the dagger even deeper. Michael had deprived Drew of his firm by manipulating the stock market and acquiring controlling interest in Aurora, awarding Curtis the post of CEO as if it were a prize in a game neither of them had the right to play. Drew felt the pain of betrayal, and his rage was persistent. Curtis had once been a friend. Now he was an adversary, one who had to pay. Drew knew precisely where to attack. Curtis Ashford cherished his treasured nightclub, the Savoy, above everything else. It was his shelter, his symbol of independence, and the one thing he refused to give up. Drew saw an opportunity in it. If Curtis had taken something from him, Drew would take something equally precious in exchange. He simply needed the proper partner to make it happen. Enter Selina Wu. The leader of the Wu crime family was no stranger to the Savoy. She had been circling it like a predator for a long time, using it as a front for her illegal gambling enterprise. Curtis had rejected her every attempt to seize complete control, refusing to submit to her power. What about Drew? Drew had no such concerns. He had already met with her once, which Cody Bell had unintentionally interrupted. The gears were spinning, laying the groundwork for a potentially hazardous collaboration. Selina wanted the Savoy. Drew sought vengeance. Together, they would make it happen. Drew, the first strike, was no longer known for his fair play. The old Drew would have pursued justice through legal means and attempted to negotiate with Curtis. But that man was gone. In his place stood someone who knew that power was not given, but taken. Selina possessed leverage. She always did. There were whispers of something she knew about Curtis that she had yet to reveal. What about now? Perhaps now is the time to put it to use. She told Drew, her lips twisting into a knowing smirk as she disclosed a secret that could have Curtis on his knees. It was the kind of knowledge that might ruin a man, and it rendered discussions useless. Drew did not hesitate. He had learned that power was not determined by who was correct, but by who was ready to go the extra mile. He approached Curtis, accompanied by Selina. The talk was basic, and the message was plain. Sell the Savoy, or face the consequences. The walls were closing in on Curtis. He had fought so hard for control and autonomy, and now it was slipping through his fingers. He could see it in Drew's eyes, this wasn't just business. It was personal. Drew wanted him to suffer. And Selina? She wanted the Savoy for herself. If Curtis sold, he would forfeit everything he had worked for. But if he didn't, the implications could be much worse. The decision was his. But Drew Quartermain was done with following the rules. Jocelyn plays Cyrus, Willow needs Michael leverage, and Rick saves Ava. Jocelyn Jax influenced Cyrus Renault, and Willow Corinthos was told that she required Michael Corinthos leverage. Rick Lansing also rescued Ava Jerome, so here's how Monday's GH action played out. Nina Reeves joked at Crimson about Drew Quartermain marrying Willow and the kids calling him daddy. Carly Spencer recognized Nina's point, but she wondered how far Nina was willing to go with her scheme. Nina persisted on doing whatever was required to get Drew out of the picture. After Carly and Nina decided that this was simply about Drew and not about making decisions for Michael and Willow, Nina had another job that Carly could handle. Cyrus spied on Elizabeth Baldwin as Rick gave her flowers and talked about the Cyrus parole fax he was looking into. Rick eventually persuaded Liz to go for a stroll with him during her break. Christina Corinthos Davis arrived at Bobby's after being summoned by Jocelyn, who had something coming on and needed Christina to drive Avery and Donna Corinthos to the park. Meanwhile, Ava went to the park with Trina Robinson, who told her about overstepping with Kai Taylor. Kai arrived a little later to apologize for yelling at Trina, and they decided to get to know one another better. Ava eventually approached Avery and offered to take her to the new apartment, but Christina clearly wasn't interested. When Rick arrived with Liz, he insisted on conversing with Ava separately from the others before leading her back to her place. After chastising Ava for the park incident, Rick pushed her to stick to their legal plan and trust him. Ava and Rick ultimately became engrossed in a passionate moment, and they kissed as the clothes came off. Back with Christina, she protested to Liz about Ava's antics and believed Sonny Corinthos would shut Ava down permanently once he received updates. Christina claimed that if she couldn't have her daughter, Ava couldn't have her either. Cyrus returned to Bobby's and worried if Jocelyn would refuse to serve him. Jocelyn surprised Cyrus by apologizing instead, implying that she took her wrath out on him following Dex Heller's death. When Jocelyn pretended that the cops did not believe Cyrus was guilty, he looked perplexed and chose not to order anything at all. On his way out, Cyrus paused to look back at Jocelyn and appeared to be deep in contemplation. Later, Colette Gerard sat at a table and introduced herself to Jocelyn before passing out Jack Brennan's address. Jocelyn found out it was for a property purchased by Austin Gatlinholt a month after Cyrus was released from prison. Tracy Quartermain felt Jason Morgan was hunting for his baby mama after Drew told everyone Jason impregnated Sasha Gilmore Corbin. Tracy took Jason's non-denial as confirmation and informed him that Sasha was at the Port Charles Grill. Sasha had a difficult conversation with Willow before seeing Felicia Scorpio waiting with Cody Bell, who had no idea Sasha was coming. Felicia urged the cousins to talk things out, so Cody apologized for disrupting Sasha's business. Although Sasha appreciated Cody's concern, she made it plain that she intended to raise her baby independently and pressed him to respect her decisions. Martin Gray asked Willow whether she was certain about the divorce, and she insisted she was. With that in mind, Martin thought they needed to pursue full custody, alimony, and an overall aggressive strategy. When Nina came, she attempted to slow down the divorce proceedings. Martin stated that Willow was at a disadvantage since she was the cheater, therefore he pressed her to help him gain leverage against Michael. When Jason appeared, Cody called him a slimeball and drew the entire restaurant's attention by forcing him to declare he was the father of Sasha's baby. Back with Carly, she paid Tracy a visit and persuaded her to back down from antagonizing Willow. Tracy was plainly the person Nina intended Carly to handle, so she did her job. Tracy decided to leave Drew with Carly, but she wanted Carly to torture Drew. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.